we know that in the postseason you're up against better pitching, the best teams, so you can't expect guys to just be on fire at the plate. But I mean, they're hitting 189, I think, as a
Yeah.
team through 4 games. Nobody's really on fire. I mean,
3 games.
He's probably including the wild card.
Yeah, including the wild card.
Yeah.
Trey Turner's hitting 250. Soto has been awesome. He's hitting 260. Eaton's hitting 214. Howie's hitting 214. Anthony Rendon's hitting 230. Suzuki doesn't have a hit. I mean, you could go on and on.
Mm-hmm.
What can they do to get the bats going?
Well, it's so interesting that, like, when this team was at its best this summer, everyone says starting pitching, but really starting pitching was great the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
The ingredient that started to hide the bullpen was hitting.
Right.
Because the point is, like, even in the regular season, you get 18 to 20 outs from your starting pitching and you take it and run, but that still leaves, as we know, those 7 to 9 outs that have just been impossible for this team to get. But when you score 8, 9 runs, it's just not as daunting. And that's not a fair expectation in the playoffs, but the Dodgers did it last night. And, they have a rocky back of the bullpen that didn't have to have any pressure on them. And they kind of did what I think the Nats did for a lot of, July and August and when they were good in September, which was completely hide their bullpen by, yes, starting pitching was always there. But when the offense really got hot, that was the ingredient that helped, because that just meant that the middle relievers were kind of taken out of the equation altogether. So right now what we're seeing is a team try and hold on with only its starting pitching and a very slim offensive output that frankly just leaves no margin for error, and this team can't handle that. It's just that's not enough. So what they can do better, I mean, like all the cliches, like try and swing at better pitches. They're chasing a little too much. Not sort of get outside of yourself when you are not going well and start to chase pitches and do things. This team was really good when they were walking a lot, turning over the lineup, making contact. They're one of the best contact teams in baseball. To see them strike out a good amount is different and something they're not really accustomed to. So I'd say just getting back to putting the ball. But it starts there for sure.
Joined by Jesse Doherty, Nationals beat reporter for the Washington Post. All right, let's talk about Max. So he was fantastic in relief in an inning the other night in Game 2, but he hasn't been great as a starter here for a month and a half. We were talking about how much faith you have in him. What would you expect from Max tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been really amped up for the postseason, and we saw it the other night against Milwaukee, and then we definitely saw it in that bullpen appearance when he touched 99 7 times. But part of me is a little worried when he's doing that, because I think he does lose a little bit of control. I think he's best like 97, touching 98. So I think it's funny to say, but almost calming the adrenaline a little bit. I think he's really good when he's in that mode, when he comes out and he's fired up. But at the same time, I think he's also really good when he's a little bit closer to just himself, his usual self that he is during a July start or a June start. And I mean, I think the expectation for me tonight is that he's going to completely empty the tank. And I think he's been building up to this to be able to go 100, 110, 120 pitches, sort of like he was earlier in the season, because frankly, as we said, he has to. I mean, there's really not much of an option behind him. And this is my thing too. I think Patrick Corbin was getting really banged up last night, but even before that Turner at bat, you're thinking, like, is a tired Corbin better than a fresh Wander Suero?
Yeah.
So that's almost the Max theory tonight. Is Max at 105 pitches going into the 7th better than Tanner Rainey? Probably.
Probably.
I mean, you probably take your chances, right? I mean, maybe his velocity is a little bit down. Maybe his stuff's not as crisp, but, track record over the course of a career, the critical decision that's going to be made tonight is when to push him and when to sit him. Because you sit him and it's Rodney, Suero, Rainey, potentially, maybe Hudson for 6 outs, whoever. And Frank and like Daniel Hudson and Sean Doolittle have been solid, but they haven't been unhittable either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the big decision tonight is going to be 107 pitches going into the 8th, or 105 going into the 7th, and like you weigh that. Is that better than what we have in the pen? I think yes. That's me saying that even before I see what Max is throwing tonight. Maybe I think no in the moment because it just doesn't look good. But what I expect is that choice to sway the game one way or the other.
And the bats have to get an early lead again. They did last night, but we don't know what to expect from Rich Hill. He's only pitched, I think, 5 innings since June 19th. He's not a high velocity guy. He's 40 years old. He's going to throw a lot of junk. I would expect him maybe to pitch 2 or 3 innings, and then they'll probably get to the bullpen pretty quick. So what do we expect from Rich Hill?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Like 3, 4 innings is and 5's probably best case for them. Their middle relief has been just lights out. You have Urias and Maeda, and then you have Adam Kolarek, who's just totally mystified Juan Soto so far in this series. So I think that if you're the Nationals, if you don't have a lead by that 6th inning, 5th or 6th inning, you're in a bit of trouble. They have a lot of guys who can go 1+. They have a lot of different options and versatility in that bullpen. So I think it's critical to get to Hill early, and not just get to him, but to expand the lead. We saw that in both games 2 and 3, that the Nationals got leads early and then weren't able to pour on at all. And I think expanding leads early, not being comfortable being up 2-0 or 3-0, because this isn't a complete game situation for Max. Most likely, it's going to be really difficult to do that against.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No worries. It's just I wouldn't be comfortable with a 2 to 3 run lead. I mean, I think you just need to keep the gas pedal on the entire time, and that's easier said than done, of course, because those guys are getting paid to throw the ball past you. But I just think with the season on the line, you can't just be up 2-0 going into the 6th inning. It has to be better than that.
What's the latest on Robles? Injured the hamstring. Is he going to be good to go?
Yeah, I mean he was definitely had a slight limp yesterday, but I had heard that it was more of a day-to-day situation. I mean, I think it'd be easy for the team to paint it publicly as such, but it seems like that really is the case. I'd imagine he plays tonight with the season on the line. A lot of these guys will be pushing themselves, but if he's not going to be 100%, I don't think Taylor's a terrible option right now. I think Robles provides a little more spark and upside. Can kind of hit a big home run, or obviously in the field he's electric, getting gap to gap. But Taylor's also great defensively in center. So not to say Robles isn't better than Michael A. Taylor, he certainly is. But I do think it's not necessarily worth pushing him really hard on a really bum hamstring if he's not able to go.